Michael, the guy that created SNL, basically to go screw himself because he didn't want him to talk about O.J. Simpson murdering people. He's literally one of the most brilliant comedians ever in the history of the world, DC. I'm going to miss him. I didn't know he was sick. You wake up, you see this. Well, I woke up from the nap. I saw that, and I'm pissed off now. Really sad.
Yeah, I think Norm wouldn't want us to be sad today. I think tons of jokes on Twitter watching those. I was doing the same thing for some of the afternoon here, and I was a huge fan. Dirty Work was one of my favorite movies growing up as a teenager.
Really?
Still a classic. Yeah, absolute classic. I had the opportunity to play poker with Norm Macdonald for a couple of hours at the World Series of Poker. He was a big gambler, big sports guy, and one of my favorite comedians ever. So sad to see him go, no question.
He was a huge bettor, man. Huge bettor. He loved betting on sports. All right, Title. Norm Macdonald was the guy that did Saturday Night Live before you were born. So that's just what I know you've heard of him, but I had to start the show with that. You're right. You know what, DC? He wouldn't want us to be sad. He'd want us to laugh at him and say stupid jokes. So yeah, normal stuff. Title. I got to tell people what's going on at our RPS. Then I want you to get into pitching. Members are winning big prizes nightly. You guys know this, right? And we had some winners in the NFL this weekend. Simon, get the graphics. I mean, my goodness, Tournament of Champions winner first, the real squash. That's a golf clap to you, real squash, just because you won week 1. We're coming after you week 2, but congratulations. Shawnee Cash DFS, 15K in NFL. Nice little 15K hit. That's a big hit. And then last but not least, Chase Addy NC, $25,000. $25,000. We got every sport here. You know that. We got the core plays. We got the playbook. We're going to be doing that for baseball right now. But congrats to all our members who won yet again. Members never win. Yes, they do. All right, Title. Let's get into this slate, buddy. Big slate. Dozen games. Maybe I miscounted and there's 13. Who the hell cares? What are we doing at pitching tonight? Is it just pretty simple? If you're on FanDuel, you lock in Garrett Cole. What are you doing on DraftKings?
Yeah, 12 games, definitely a really good slate. Yankees are in Camden, so by far the best offense on the slate total-wise. And then Garrett Cole, by far the best pitcher on the slate. On DraftKings, he is my SP1. I think you can afford him at 10.7K. There's some cheap pitchers and some pretty good matchups. There's some cheap bats, as there always is. So I like anchoring my lineups around Garrett Cole on DraftKings. On FanDuel, though, it's definitely a tougher question. The pitching prices, FanDuel's done a better job than DraftKings with pitching all year, as we say. I mean, Garrett Cole's all the way up at 11.4. And then a guy that I have interest in down lower on DraftKings and FanDuel, Eric Fetty, in a good matchup against Miami, he's 7.2K. So there's tons of salary that would get you for good bats. So I don't think Garrett Cole is a stone lock on FanDuel. I think it's actually a tough decision. On DraftKings, I do like Garrett Cole. On DraftKings, I do. As a pivot, I think Nathan Eovaldi against Seattle makes a lot of sense in a pivot in tournaments. 9.6K. He's just been really good this year. Gets the better pitchers park in Seattle compared to Cole in Baltimore. I think you can pair them both if you want. I'm not going to really go double spend up. There's some bats I want, some cheap pitchers I think that'll get there. So I think Eovaldi is a good tournament pivot. It's going to be half the ownership, if not more, on DraftKings. So I think he makes sense. He's been very good, not scared of Seattle. And then the two mid-tier guys, Kyle Gibson and Eric Fetty, I think are going to get the ownership. It's all about the matchups. We talked about it recently. The Cubs in Miami, certain teams you want to pick on, and those are two teams we like picking on. I prefer Eric Fetty to Kyle Gibson. Gibson hasn't been very good as of late at all. Definitely worried. His strikeouts haven't been there, walking a little more. I don't think the Cubs are good at all, but I think Fetty's just a better real-life pitcher. So you get $1,200 savings as well. He's my favorite SP2 right now at 6.9K.
Ooh, going down to a little Fetty action. Okay. DC, what do you got here at pitching today? Just run down FanDuel and DraftKings, and then maybe we can take some pitching questions. Let's change it up here. A couple weeks left in the regular season. You got questions about pitching? Throw them in the chat. Great quote, by the way, Simon in the chat there. But let's go. What do we got pitching-wise there, DC?
Yeah, I agree with some of what Title said, not all of it. Eric Fetty will talk about that. I actually kind of like the Marlins offense a little bit today, so that'll be an interesting discussion to have. Garrett Cole, though, I mean, hard to argue with that. Like, coming off a minor injury against Toronto, wasn't pitching particularly well, removed with hamstring soreness. I think his start was pushed back a couple days, avoided the IL. I'm not really concerned about that, but when I think the chalk pitcher, right, title, I think Garrett Cole will carry the ownership at pitcher.
Yeah.
And you're the most expensive, so super high owned, super expensive. Any question mark that you have is kind of a point of maybe you could go elsewhere. But I do really like Garrett Cole. I have no problem going there whatsoever. Frankie Montas up there at the top, pitching in Kansas City, I think is a decent pivot from Cole. I think, Giolito's there too, but I think it's Montas who, Cole could have a great game, and Montas, I think, could still match him is kind of the reason I might pivot to Montas there. You get a little bit of savings. Eovaldi, I agree. Pretty good play. But a lot of this mid-range, I don't love it. I mean, Kyle Gibson, you kind of hit a title where, we liked him early and he's still okay, but just 8,100. We haven't been not really on him the last month or so. I think I'm going to continue that. The Cubs, bad team, but their offense can at least do a little something. It's their pitching that's so bad. Eric Fetty, I get it, right? The matchup's super good. He's at home. You look at the team total for the Marlins. To me, that's kind of right. This isn't an Eric Fetty play. This is just a
Matchup,
an asset, right? It's not like you're a big believer in Eric Fetty. He's cheap enough at 6,900. The matchup's good enough, so you roll him out there at SB2. Hope he gets you 15 fantasy points. I get it. Actually, think the other side of that game, Jesus Luzardo for Miami, not nearly. I don't really think Fetty's safe either. But you could make the argument like Luzardo, just a way more talented pitcher than Fetty, and I think the matchup maybe not quite as good, but pretty close to it. And Luzardo's had 3 solid outings in a row, right? It's been a struggle for him, but he was a top prospect coming up. So kind of a wild card, Luzardo, but he is $600 cheaper and maybe less owned than Fetty. I'm not sure. I think Luzardo will get some love today as well from DFS players. But yeah, that's kind of it. Touki Toussaint, I think, is okay. 7,300 home matchup against the Rockies if you want to look elsewhere. But to me, it's kind of Cole up there. I like Montas some, and then I'm willing to roll the dice on Luzardo. I get the Fetty argument as well.
Is there going to be some ownership on the Lizard King today?
I think so. He's super cheap. He's kind of a bigger name, I guess, at least like compared to the people he's priced around, right? Like you look at those names, it's Lyles and just Naughton and Woodford and Sampson, like guys that you really can't consider at all for the most part, in my opinion. So yeah, I think people will go to Luzardo. I think people will go to Fetty. That's typically going to be the case, right? It's tough to find a pitcher that you like that nobody else is on. I think that's the case again tonight.
Okay, very good. Couple questions we got. Let's start with the premium chat. DC, any love for Gibson? That's from Jay Frey.
No, yeah, I don't really like Gibson. I got another question in there. I would prefer Jose Barrios over Gibson there. I like Montas better. I think I like Eovaldi a little bit better, but Barrios does have a lot of upside. He's been really good 3 games in a row. Alek Manoah had a good game against Tampa Bay yesterday. Barrios, somewhat similar pitcher to him in terms of their pitch usage and stuff like that. So, yeah, Barrios, I think, as a tournament play, not bad.
So how about you, Title? Let's go to Barrios. Get your specific thoughts on him, specific thoughts on Gibson, even if you brought him up. Just 2 guys that we got asked about.
Yeah, I'm not playing Barrios for 9.8. Just too expensive. I don't think you need to pick on Tampa on this slate. I get it. Boom, GBP, boomer bust type guy, but there's other guys that I prefer. Kyle Gibson, yeah, I think he's going to be overowned though. Like he's popping a lot for some places. He's 8.1K. I just like Fetty more. I'm going to anchor a lot of my lineups around Cole. I think Eovaldi's a very strong pivot. And then I like the Luzardo call. We know he has the strikeout stuff. I'm not really scared. I'm not scared of this Washington team. So I like him. I think Touki Toussaint, as DC said, I think he's very interesting. You can even go on the other side of that game. John Gray's been a lot better as of late. I don't like picking on Atlanta, so I doubt I get there too much. But if you're 150 or something, I would have some John Gray who's going to be low owned. And then the last guy, man, last Tuesday, he was on the slate as well. He's free again. If you're making 150, you got to have some Jackson Cowher, I think, too, because it puts you on a whole different build. His strikeouts have been there. I know he got absolutely, I think he let up 6 runs or something. He still threw over 100 pitches, had some strikeouts. He finished with 7 on a slate that pitching wasn't very good. So, I wouldn't be shocked if he somehow outscored Kyle Gibson or something for 3K less and 1/7 of the ownership. So He's going to be really low owned if you're making a ton of lineups. I think he's your punt at 5K, but I won't have too much. I'll be standing more in the mid range, and Garrett Cole's anchoring a lot of my lineups.
K Falik is here. How are you, buddy?
Hey.
Good to see you. Thanks for hopping on.
I thought it was an emergency. Holden sent me a message saying hop on the
It's not
show,
an
so I thought you
emergency.
needed me.
Was not. I just missed your face. I don't see you during football season.
How's everybody doing?
And we don't have basketball coming up for another 6 weeks or so. So any K Falik that I can get is going to make me happy.
Let's hear the
Good
pitching
to be
takes.
on.
Let's hear the
that's what
pitching
we
takes,
want.
Valak.
Who are we doing?
So can I first say that Mr. DC, the previous companies that you have worked for, I'm a little annoyed with right now. I am a avid user of the Roto Grinders starting lineup page. And I was really, really excited because they have Jose Barrios listed as 8.6K. I then opened the DraftKings lineup page, and I see that he is 9.8K, which is not very nice to do. So I was like so set on playing Barrios today, and now I'm like, I don't know if I can play him at 9.8K.
Well, I still got my contacts in over at Roto Grinders. I can make a call and make sure they get on the ball tomorrow, right? So they don't.
Yeah, it's
because
just-
I don't want your emotions played with like that. That's not cool.
I
I'll
was-
see what I can do for you, K-Falik.
Thank you. I literally was, when I opened DraftKings and saw that he was 9.8, I was in shock because I was so excited to play him at 8.6. I really think he's a good play tonight.
You can't find the $1,200 in the tournament.
No, I'm saying I think he's a good play still. He probably will be even lower owned than he was before, but I'm pretty sure he was going to be low owned anyways.
Yeah, I don't think people will play him.
Yeah, I think he's 100% in play. Lizardo, I think, is a great play today again. Just the strikeout upside is there. Washington tried to throw out a few more righties than they usually do. So you got a handful more K opportunities in there as well. The Garrett Cole play is it's the obvious strikeout upside play. You just have to make the decision if you want to eat the 50-60% owned play, and that's always the challenge with a guy like, I think he's going to be 50% owned more tonight. I could be wrong, but there's plenty of value to play. So I see him being 50% owned or more. The one I'm interested in anybody's thoughts on is Tukey going? Is he going to have a pitch count again? Like, what's going on with him and his pitch count?
Yeah, I want to hear DC's thoughts too, because he hasn't thrown over 63 or 64 since multiple starts. I'm curious about that too. I didn't think he was going to be overextended, but DC, do you know something going to change?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think he could get back to the 80, 90 pitches, right? Like, there's kind of some weird circumstances in those games, but it's by no means a guarantee. I was looking into it. I couldn't really find much from the manager or anybody else on the Tukey pitch count thing. So I don't think there's any reason he couldn't get the full workload here, but given his last couple starts, you have to question it, right? And it's just tough to, on a 12-game slate, to roll the dice on a pitcher that could be rolling and get pulled at 65, 70 pitches. I mean, it's kind of a painful way to lose. So
yeah, because I think he's solid versus righties.
Yeah, he could have a good outing here, no question. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good spot for him is the easiest way to put it. And I'm very interested in him if I knew that he was going to get at least 75 pitches. Like, I'd love 90 pitches, but if I only get 75, I'm even okay with that. Who else is there? Yeah, that's really, like, those are the guys that I'm looking at. It's two on the top, two in the middle to down low, and that's really the only guys that I'm really interested in today. I'm not sure why Zach Greinke's garnering any ownership at all. I think he is going to be absolutely limited tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I just don't see anybody. I don't think Eric Fetty is a great play tonight. I'm concerned. I think Miami is finally bringing up their young guys, and their young guys are aggressive players. So I'm not going to play Fetty today personally.
No Fetty personally. Is there even a ceiling with Fetty? Like, you can play him in cash. I feel like
sure, he got 32 against Miami last time he played him.
Yeah. No, so there is a ceiling then. is what you're telling me. I always just look at Fetty and I'm so underwhelmed by his stuff, but he gets the job done in real life sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So it is a matchup play for you, strictly a matchup play if you're playing Fetty today. All right, guys, like button would be nice. That means that you guys are happy. Maria, I don't know if it's you or your husband in the chat today. Hang in there, young lady or man. You guys are gonna be fine. DFS is peaks and valleys, talking about how she needs to get hot now. And, over 162 guys, if you're in plus territory, seriously, if you're in plus territory at this point, and you should be if you followed RPS, DC, talk about that for a second. Because this is different than any other sport. It just doesn't stop. It's night after night after. It's like 200 straight nights. And if you're up at this point, you've done a hell of a job. I mean, again, RPS, we've given great advice. We've had a lot of members win, but boy, you cannot get worried about these cold streaks because you're going to snap out of it long-term if you're good.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I think we have 20 days left of regular season baseball, which is like, so, 20 pretty good slates, maybe a few more even there with Sundays and Saturday double slates. That's more than a whole football season worth of slates. And so, listen, I know there's not nearly the volume of action on DFS baseball or whatever, but there's still plenty of action to be had, right? Like there's still good tournaments every single night on both sites. So yeah, even if you haven't had the best season, you're watching this show, not too late to turn it around. It takes one big night sometimes to make a season, and you keep on grinding. So yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of tuned out of baseball right now with football going. I get it, but listen, if you love the sport, if you love DFS, you're out there grinding still. Which if you're watching the show, I assume you are. So yeah, all good, full speed ahead.
Kevin, the Chum King, wants to know if we are mispronouncing K. Falik.
You're good.
Very concerned about that.
I don't care. I've lived with that last name my entire life, and I've gotten called when you get when the telemarketers call you. I'm so happy I don't have a landline anymore. But when the telemarketers would call you and be like, they'd mispronounce it every single which way. So I'm good with whatever it is. You're good. Don't worry.
I don't know how it's actually pronounced, but I guess that's okay.
Phallic is how it's pronounced.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What do people call you besides for Falik? What are some?
Let's see. We got Phallic. I haven't heard. Falik is not often used. Falk is one of the more common ones because I got Kevin Falk. I'm like, no, I'm not the old running back for the New England Patriots. Like those are the common ones that I used to get. Mr. Falk and Mr. Phallic are the two most common. But
all right.
Yeah.
Alan S., we kind of did the in Israel, it's called the Jewish hammer. Is that what you're called, the Jewish hammer? Steve
I don't
Becker
know.
Said. We kind of talked about our thoughts on Luzardo on DK. If you just want to talk about it real quick, K. Phallic, big deal with Luzardo. You hopping on the train? The hot
talk about Gonsolin too. Travis Duarte,
Okay.
He's always in chat. He brought him up. None of us are talking about him. So talk about Gonsolin while you're at it too. Okay, Phallic.
Yeah, if Gonsolin, again, if it's the same thing as Tukey, but I'm not sure Gonsolin has even a chance of getting the pitch count. But if Gonsolin's pitch count is 80 to 90, I'd be interested in him as well. It's also 1-2. The Diamondbacks are putting in their all lefty lineup tonight. So that's a little concerning as well. Literally 8 lefties are in the lineup. I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen 8 righties or 9 righties. I'm not sure I've ever seen 8 lefties. So that's a piece right there that I'd be concerned with. And I just absolutely hate Dave Roberts. I think Dave Roberts is like one of the worst managers when it comes to DFS pitchers, playing any DFS pitcher with him. Again, back to Luzardo, strikeout upside. He's a very talented player. Like there's a reason that Miami wanted him in the trade for Marte. They wanted him because he has the upside. He was a great pitcher, or not a great pitcher, but he has great stuff. Last 3 starts, maybe he's figured it out. They want to see what they have with him as well. And the matchup, I think it's a solid matchup against this Washington team. Who are you really scared of in this Washington lineup? Would be the question I'd ask if you're not considering playing Luzardo because of the matchup. I'm not scared of any of these bats, to be honest. They
I'm more scared of Luzardo.
True, yeah,
but
absolutely.
But he's super cheap. That's one part of it, and like, you know, I mean, how scared can you be of a $6,300 pitcher who's got strikeout upside? Like, it doesn't work. That's fine, but like, if he does have, you know, he's got a shot at a good game. He just clearly does. He's got that kind of stuff. If he does perform well at that price point, I mean, that's, you know, could be a critical building block to success on this slate, to get a cheap pitcher who puts up a big score. Because I don't think there's going to be very many big pitching scores tonight. You know, outside of the top guys, like you get into that bottom range, whether you're on Fetty, whether you're on Luzardo, whoever it is, you know, you get 20 plus from one of those guys. That could be the whole key to the slate. Or, you know, obviously you got to get your hitting right too, but that at least gives you the opportunity to say, okay, at this point, I can kind of, for the most part, kind of stack up who I want, right? If I take Luzardo, so then you got to hit on your stack too. But he allows you the opportunity to take the bats that you want, right? You're not if you go Garrett Cole and Montas, something like that, kind of somewhat forced into some of these cheaper plays that a lot of other people are going to go to. So I do like the flexibility Luzardo gets, along with the upside at that price point.
I'm just looking at the cores, guys. We're not going to release them today. It's just for members only. So if you've not signed up to be a member, there's still a little bit of time. There's tons of time, actually. We got NFL that just started. Come on, there's tons of time. But I mean, listen, it's obvious Garrett Cole is the number one, but I'm seeing a lot of another pitcher in there. And even with you, DC. Okay. So there are game plans to get Garrett Cole and another pitcher in there tonight. There's got to be some weaker teams, I guess is what we could say. So let's get into those title. We can go game by game if you want to. You could just say pass if you want to. It doesn't matter. You got anything on the Cubs and Phillies tonight, title? Any Philadelphia? I mean, they've got 5.5 runs is what they're looking at.
Yeah, I don't mind Philadelphia against Samson. There's a couple. There's a lot of good spots actually for hitting. As we mentioned, pitching isn't very good. Philly's falling down the list a little bit for me, but there's absolutely nothing wrong. I think Bryce Harper is one of the most elite one-offs. Brad Miller's cheap on FanDuel. They have McCutcheon's fine. Segura, like they have pieces I'm definitely fine with. I'm not going to full stack them. As far as the Cubs, if you're throwing one lineup, I don't know what the big GPP, $15 to win 100K is it today or whatever it is, Gibson's going to be owned. And Gibson just hasn't been there. No one likes playing the Cubs. I think the Cubs are a really good deep GPP flyer that can win you 100K. So again, be caught. You could burn that money. It's most likely going to be burned, but the upside, no one's doing it.
I'm a Gibson believer, have been in the past, and he's a former Twin. So I've just kind of followed his career pretty closely. And like, he has some really, really bad starts from time to time, right? Like he'll go on runs where he's kind of, but like if he's not locating well, his stuff is really hittable. And I've seen it, we talk about some pitchers like, yeah, they're not that good, but they just always seem to survive the blow up. When things go south for Gibson, it unravels in a hurry for him. So yeah, I don't mind that Cubs call. It all hot, humid in Philly. I think Ian Happ in the middle of that lineup is one of the better outfield plays on this slate, just as a one-off at 3,800. He's been on fire recently. And with you, title Bryce Harper, I don't really want to full stack the Phillies necessarily, but I'd love to get as much Bryce Harper as I can. I think
he's going deep.
I think yeah. To me, maybe the top overall play on the slate. So. Definitely plays in this game to go to if you want to.
Between him and Vlad, I mean, I know those are big names and everything, but they're $100 difference on FanDuel. Yeah. I mean, both of them are just destroying the baseball.
Harper for me too, and that shows. Bryce Harper is a very elite play.
You're right, PZeter. I'm trying not to say RPS NFL 15. Like every time we read this, we've been doing this for like 6 years. It feels like just RPS NFL 15. And if I say it, Hoop's going to come over and decapitate me because he's been wanting to get rid of the damn thing forever. So we're not messing with it. Huh?
It won't work. I don't think
it might though. That's the problem.
There you go. You just gave it away.
DC. How about a mini stack with Philly? Like
I think Holden, was that some sinister plot that you had? You're like, oh, maybe it could still work. It's all in the joke. You're getting people to go try it. We know
you're giving me too much credit, man. You're giving me too much credit. What can we mini stack the Phillies just a little bit? Like who else are you throwing with Harper if you are Segura? Yeah, anything?
I mean, Odubel Herrera, but it's like 4,900 is a
We're
lot.
not.
That's a
Okay.
lot to pay for him on this slate. So, like,
Andrew Knapp, full punt catcher,
there you go.
2K.
The Bryce
do
Harper, Andrew Knapp stack. They're separated by 6 hitters, but don't worry about it.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's a full punt. It'll get you your Garrett Cole, but yeah.
All right. So DC, you gave your thoughts. K Falik, anything from this game or move on?
Move on.
All right. So fine. I'll start with you on the next game. Miami, Washington. Anything in this game or move on?
Move on.
DC?
No, yeah, I like the Marlins side a little bit here. I mean, we talked about the pitching. Title likes Fetty. I like Luzardo. Sounds like Keith Fallick likes Luzardo some as well. I kind of like the lefty bats here. They're just so cheap for Miami. Fetty's been hit hard by lefties all year. We've talked about how bad that Washington bullpen is. So similar to the other day, they ended up doing pretty solid. Chisholm, Jesus Sanchez, Lewin Diaz. I mean, you're talking about an average of like 3,100 to get those 3 guys into your lineup. You can throw the 2 and the 4 hitters in there. Brian De La Cruz, Luis Brinson. I like them a little bit less because they swing from the right side. Fetty, much more susceptible to lefties, but they can do damage. I don't think most of these guys are really pinch hit risks. I think they'll be in there all 9 innings against Fetty and just a terrible Washington bullpen. Weather looks good for hitting, and these guys have power. There's some speed, some power at the top of this lineup. Again, a very inconsistent lineup, a very, very young lineup. I bet the Marlins lineup today is the youngest lineup of anybody out there in the league, right? They just have a bunch of kind of 22 to 24-year-old guys, but a ton of talent too. So Fetty is the type of guy I kind of want to roster these types of hitters against. A pitcher who doesn't have overpowering stuff, who, if he does make mistakes, and Eric Fetty his ERA is like 5.4, right? He's been hit hard this season. I think he deserves that ERA. If he's making mistakes, I think the Marlins have the talent to punish it. So I am on this Marlins stack a little bit.
Title, what do you got here?
Yeah, no, DC's reason for the Marlins is like mine for the Cubs. It's pretty much the same thing. You're targeting 2 pitchers that are going to get some ownership. I like Fetty, so I'm going to be off this game, but I totally get it.
Can we just full fade the Yankees today offensively and just get different that way? It's just, we haven't gotten to the Yankees.
If you don't like money, you can.
Just even in GPPs?
No, you definitely can. It's baseball. I love the Yankees. I think Fallick, they're in Camden Yards. They're guaranteed the 9th inning at bat. Awful bullpen. Not a good pitch. Like, it's baseball. How many times are the Yankees disappointed? So yeah, of course you can. I'm not personally going to be doing that, but I play majority cash games. So those 2 are the ones to ask mainly.
All right. So you're not worried about Baltimore, but the Yankees are definitely on the list.
I like the Yankees.
Obviously. So who are your favorite plays? Give us 4 or 5 guys that you really want to pick out in the Yankees lineup today.
Yeah, I mean, the Judge and Stantons and Gallows of the world for sure. They're easier to get on FanDuel a little bit. Your Shell is really cheap on FanDuel. He's only 2.5K. And then Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt's cheap on DK. He's only 3.8. DJ's 4.2. Like, man, I'm curious. I'm curious how DC and K Fallick, if they are on the Yankees, are you guys going to be more going to the bottom of the order? Because the top of the order stands out, and it's hard to ignore them for me if I'm playing the Yankees.
If I'm playing the Yankees, one guy that I'm for sure playing is Anthony Rizzo. If I'm a GPP player, I'm for sure playing Anthony Rizzo. He's $700 more than Luke Voigt. He's lefty versus a starter who may not be in that long anyways. So you're getting like that edge solely because you're doing lefty righty versus lefty plus $700. I think Luke Voigt will be double the ownership of Anthony Rizzo, and you can get Anthony Rizzo at low ownership solely because for that reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. And if you look at what's probably going to happen in the second half of this game, Anthony Rizzo is surrounded by 2 right-handed bats on either side of him. So his third and fourth at bats, right, or maybe even third, fourth, and fifth at bats, probably going to be against right-handed pitching because they're going to have to bring those guys in to face LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, and Voigt. So, like, you look at this, you say, oh, I want the guy with the platoon advantage, which is Voigt, but over the entirety of this game, it actually might be Rizzo that has the platoon advantage more often than Voigt does, despite not having it to start the game. So I think that's a good point, K Fallick.
Love it, K Fallick. So how many Yankees you got, K Fallick?
I'm still trying to make a decision if I'm going to pay down for both pitchers. You'll hear me say it in a little bit, but I think the Dodgers are a great play tonight as well. So I'm deciding between Dodgers and Yankees as my top stack tonight. So and then the secondary stack is dependent on whether I'm going to pay down for both pitchers or if I'm going to take do one pay down and one pay up pitcher.
Money O is going with the A's for the giblets. Randy hates playing Yankees chalk. We've got
listen, Randy. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't like playing Yankees chalk, but I will say there's ways to get different with these Yankees. So I'm trying to provide at least a little bit of guidance on how to be at least a little bit different with them. I think you can expect for your Judge, I think that the most common 5 Yankees that are going to be played tonight, if you're playing a 5-man stack, is going to be Judge, Stanton, Voit, Gallo, Higashioka. I think it's pretty clear that if that's going to be the 5-man that is going to be duplicated many of times. At least that's my opinion. I don't know DC and Title if y'all agree with that, but that's what I would say are the 5 most common Yankees players. And I do think that Gleyber Torres is a fine play as well. He fits a position. He's cheap. Maybe one day he'll start hitting. I will not be playing Gio Urshela, 0% chance. If he beats me, he beats me. But he is I never liked him before. He had a good couple of years, but I've never liked him. I didn't think he was that great of a hitter anyways.
He's a better play on FanDuel. If you want Cole, he's 2.5. You get Yankees exposure, and that position is more. I'm talking more cash games too.
Sure.
So,
I mean, I get wanting to get the cheap pieces of the Yankees, but I do really want to play Gleyber Torres. I mean, at this point,
I wouldn't. Yeah,
I'm kind of
awful.
I mean, it's September 14th, and Torres has been healthy all year. Has 7 home runs. I don't. It kind of, to me, it's kind of defeats the purpose of playing the Yankees, right? The reason they have a high team total,
sure,
not because of Torres, it's because of Judge and Stan and Luke, the guys at the top of the lineup. So, I'm not playing Urshela. I don't really want to play Gleyber Torres or Higashioka really either. I get it, it's Camden Yards and great matchup and all that, but I prefer to I would rather take the good bats on the Marlins and these shit bats at the end of the Yankees lineup. Basically.
Yep. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, guys, let's continue on here and hit the like button if you get a shot. We'd really like that. Does anyone like an Oakland mini stack? Nancy Drew guy. Oakland mini stack?
I like Matt Olson.
Matt Olson. Always. Yeah. Matt Olson in play. Anyone else? Any Oakland A's or no?
I don't really have.
They're expensive.
They're expensive too. Okay. Yeah. We got a little pitching on that side, but that's it. C-Wegs, any weather concerns tonight? I don't see anything. I didn't see anything pre-show that was too scary, guys. DC, I know, sometimes you could chime in on this too, but I'm not seeing anything too bad outside of maybe Detroit.
Yeah.
Which isn't on the slate, so you're good.
So screw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not backing off any games with weather right now, and I wouldn't expect to before the end of the night.
All right. We're all done. We're good. We're good with that. Next game to get to, Tampa Bay, Toronto. So again, it's Vladimir Guerrero. There's a whole bunch of big bats in there taking on Rasmussen, a right-hander tonight. Title, you're just Yankees. I get it, but you're playing GPPs. Can you sprinkle in a few of these guys from Toronto? Not Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think Corey Dickerson's fine in the 6 hole. He's 2.9K. I mean, I'll never fault you. If you like Tampa today, or not Tampa, if you like Toronto, I think Gary was liking them a little bit in chat. You can never. Toronto's one of the best offenses on the slate. The thing is, there's a lot of great offenses, and a lot of them have better matchups. So I'm not getting there today. It's Toronto. They can go off at any time. My favorite would be Corey Dickerson. He's 2.9. He's in the 6 hole. He has the platoon advantage. So I'm not on in this game, though. I'm not going to have any Tampa Bay, but how many times has Tampa Bay went off at 1% this year? So the GPP guys will have a better save, but I'm off this game.
Kate Falik, let's go to you on Toronto. I'm interested here. I don't think you're going to play any of these guys, but I think Vladdy's going to have to be on my lineups tonight. I'm just looking at it.
I'm not doing it. It's as simple as that. I'm just not doing it.
Why?
playoff atmosphere type of game. Tampa Bay wants to win. Like, I think that everything points to Tampa limiting Rasmussen's innings if they need to, go into that bullpen, changing it up numerous times on Toronto as well as they can, and just going that route. I also I will continue to say that they have 3 bats that just for some reasons feel very weak in this lineup, in Corey Dickerson, Valera, and McGuire, and that's all. It's just not a route that I want to go.
Dickerson's going deep just because you said that now.
Talk about a guy who hasn't gone deep all season or whatever, 7 home runs. Why would you want to play him? Dickerson falls into that boat.
Dickerson's the SO. Dickerson's the SO play of the day just because of that. He's going deep.
That's it.
Thanks, K. Falik.
Yeah, that's some deep research right there. What do you got on this one, DC? Anything? Toronto?
Yeah, not a ton. Yeah, again, Barrios, I think a good GPP play if you want to go that direction. Of course, Vladimir Guerrero, right? If you're playing Luzardo, maybe you have a Marlin stack, and I was kind of building out some teams, and if I put a 5-man Marlin stack in there, you can play. Your other 3 guys can be any guys that you want to hit if you have Luzardo and the Marlins. So in those types of builds, yeah, Vladimir Guerrero I think is a good play. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm kind of expecting this game to be lower scoring, to maybe go under the total. And yeah, mostly a fade on 12-game slate for me.
Okay, so stick with us here, DC. Let's go to St. Louis and the Mets. Another one we're just fading. We don't want to attack Stroman and the St. Louis bats and the Mets.
I almost never attack Stroman.
No,
ground ball pitcher, just doesn't get beat up very often. Throw strikes. In New York, it's just not a great spot to attack.
Title, what do you got? Anything from this game?
Conforto is a one-off, if anything, but I don't like this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like this game.
Pass.
Okay, so let's go to you here, Title. Colorado, Atlanta. If you're playing GPPs here, who sticks out to you? With John Gray, we like John Gray, but can we go again? You talked about Touki Toussaint. Maybe he doesn't go that deep. I think he only threw 29 strikes in his last start. Anything from this game? I don't want to play Colorado bats on the road.
It's a pass. I wish it was in Coors, but it's not, so it's a pass.
You only have a few more. Why don't you come out? You'll go to Coors. I'll say I'll go with you, but I'm not going to meet you there. But you should come out. It's a great ballpark. K. Falik, Rockies, Braves.
Atlanta has some interesting pieces if you're interested in attacking John Gray. I probably will not be going there personally.
Okay. DC, Rockies, anything? Braves, anything?
Not much. I mean, Toussaint, I think, is a solid play at pitcher. I do prefer Luzardo, especially with the question marks around Touki Toussaint's workload in this one. But I still think a reasonable play for sure, just given the strength of the matchup against the Rockies, fact that he's at home and all that. And John Gray, he's had a good season for sure for the Rockies. I kind of thought he was going to be done. He went on the IL with elbow inflammation and early September. I kind of figured, okay, that's going to be it for John Gray, but came back and got 8 strikeouts against the Giants in his last start. So looked pretty good there. Not advising playing him, but I think he's got a chance to compete here and slow down this Braves offense. And you guys know I love the Braves. So mostly a fade here for me.
We're trying to get a little bit of salary relief here. Can we go Houston and Texas, Mr. DC? Maybe more on that Texas side. I don't know why we're going against Greinke, but on the other side, the Astros against Jordan Lyles.
Yeah.
How badly do we want to go against him?
Yeah, they're great options. A little bit cheaper right now. I do prefer Yordan Alvarez, I think, is the best play there, followed by Kyle Tucker, and then the guys at the top of the lineup, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa. But yeah, Lyles isn't any good. We know that bullpen's terrible. Astros, I think they have the second high, maybe third highest team total on this slate for a reason. So yeah, I think the Astros a pretty good way to go. I'd like it more if it was in Houston. And then Greinke and the other side, the Rangers side, I have no interest in Greinke or any Rangers hitters really. I just kind of a complete fade for me, one that I feel pretty comfortable with, to be honest.
All right, Title, give us some lowdown on this game.
Houston finally exploded yesterday. Now they get a good match against Jordan Lyles. They get the guaranteed 9th inning at bat. Alvarez double dong yesterday. I think he makes a lot of sense. You get a cheapie and Chas McCormick too. He's min price down there in the outfield. If you do want to go the Montas, Evaldi, Cole route, double spend there, you can get exposure very cheap to one of the better games. So Bregman's only 4-2. That's just a plain misprice. I like picking on Jordan Lyles. Houston starting to hit. I think Houston's definitely a very good stack.
Okay, K. Philippe, Houston.
Yeah, they're in play. I personally don't think Chas McCormick's any good.
He's 2K. It's not going to get you a double dong.
No, for sure. But if I'm picking 3 outfielders for the Astros, I'm going with this Siri kid and Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. I'm skipping right over McCormick. Don't touch Martin Maldonado. Don't play him in a stack because he's the catcher. Just don't do that. Go find another catcher. Bregman's is on a heater right now. So I do think he's in play. There's some crazy numbers on him. Altuve's finally got out of his slump. Plenty of guys in play is really the easiest way to put it. But I'm not sure I'm going there just because I don't want to play this Texas ballpark, but I absolutely get the play.
Siri, yeah, Siri's 2K too. So Chaz, Siri, you lean Siri. So yeah, he's
you like him? Too. Like, is he a good player? Or what's
not sure.
Like a 57-point FanDuel night?
Not sure. He's not a 57-point FanDuel 42 DK night.
Yeah,
that is not who he is. But I somehow the Astros continue to find these hidden gems somewhere that just find their way in. I don't understand where they come from. I don't know anything about them really, and I'm a huge Astros fan, and they just show up and somehow do something. Jake Myers has been that way. So we'll see. I don't know. We don't have enough time to talk through the Astros ability to get some young players.
We don't. We got 20 minutes left. And I think we're going to have a couple more games where we just move on. Like Angels, White Sox. Who are we playing from the White Sox tonight, guys? Who do we want to stack here against Naughton?
White Sox are cheap.
Yeah,
I mean, they're cheap on DraftKings. Luis Robert 4.4K, Abreu's 4.2, Eloy Jimenez only 3.7.
Yeah,
Tim Anderson 4.6. I mean, against a lefty, White Sox against a lefty. A man goes on here, I can almost guarantee it'd be his top stack. Good hitting weather, too. I mean,
Abreu from this one going up against
4.2 Abreu. If everyone's going to go Luke Voigt, I think that's a fine pivot in tournament. I like the White Sox. Good hitting weather, as I said too, which I look at a lot in September because of how much it varies across the country. So White Sox the hitting's better than the pitching today. As DC mentioned earlier, where Luzardo could break the slate and there could be a lot of bad pitchers, it absolutely could. Pitching is not very deep outside of Cole today. And Cole's expensive because even a 20 from Cole, you might not want that if big bats go off. So I like the White Sox.
DC, who you got from White Sox Angels?
Yeah, I mean, the top half of this lineup is kind of ridiculously cheap, either due to, poor recent performance or guys coming back from injury like Tim Anderson. Eloy's missed some time himself, but, this is a strong White Sox lineup that they're putting out there. We've seen the total climbing, I think, throughout most of the day, up over 5.8 now I'm seeing right now for the White Sox. And they're cheap, right? You can afford the 1 through 5 or include Robert at the 6 hole pretty easily with some decent pitching. I kind of assume the White Sox are going to be chalky, just a combination of their kind of cumulative price point plus obviously the big team total, right? Like that's going to be a direction people go. You also have most of these guys with the platoon advantage. I think that can lead to increased ownership for stacks when you can line up, 5 righties in a row against a lefty, stuff like that, which you can do with the White Sox. So yeah, they're going to be popular, but I think a very good way to go, Packy Naughton. He's about as good as his name, as you would think, going up against a pitcher with Packy Naughton. So yeah, I think the White Sox are a great way to go here.
Falk, is there a one-off I could stick in here? I'm just looking. We don't want to see Cesar Hernandez, do we? We don't want just hitting ninth tonight. So, there's no reason to do that.
The only thing I want to say in addition to what all the guys were saying is I'm a little confused by what Tony La Russa said about Tim Anderson, that they were going to bring him in like it was a spring training and blah blah blah, which could mean that he gets pulled early. I'm not saying it is, but it is definitely has the potential. When old man Tony says stuff like that, that means that he's going to get 2 at bats and then be pulled. Who knows? So that's the only thing I would say about Tim Anderson is that.
Yeah.
Old man Tony.
I mean,
Phallic.
he's cheap
Yeah.
enough so you can kind of the risk is a little bit mitigated, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Oakland going to be popular against Keller tonight?
No,
No?
no.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, why? Tell me why and tell me who we're playing from Oakland.
Go ahead, K Phallic. Why? Because of the Yankees, because of Houston, because of the White Sox prices. That's why. K Phallic, who you're playing, that's on you. Matt Olson, DC said, can't ever go wrong with
He
Matt
said
Olson.
Matt Olson. Josh Harrison.
Jed
If you're
Lowry,
playing-
he's cheap on FanDuel too. Maybe it's another dusty guy that K Phallic will say and not play, but he's cheap on FanDuel.
Who you got, K Phallic?
No one. I'm not playing Oakland.
No one. DC, no one?
Matt Olson. Yep.
Matty Olson. Fine. Let's just keep moving on. K Phallic, I love how you continue to just pass on all these games. You got two teams. I like the Giants tonight. Tell me why I'm wrong against Arrieta. I get it. It's the ballpark. Big T would never play it, but 5+ implied run total. Is anybody going to be on the Giants tonight? Because I like them. I like Belt, Wade.
Yeah. I will be.
Yeah. Who is it? Who in particular are you playing? Where are we going here? Because Bryant's down in the 6 hole today. Listella's leading off. Would you even consider playing Listella? I feel like Listella, Belt,
No.
Lamonte.
So Posey is a guy that I'd be interested in to fill that catcher spot if you're looking for a catcher. The one thing that I always get worried about with San Francisco is who they're going to bring in after this first when they bring in some pitch hitters and stuff. So Posey is a guy. Lamonte Wade I'm interested in. Belt, Crawford. Like I would never play Steven Duggar right now. He's cheap, yes, but I just don't trust that. The reason why you don't want to play San Francisco is the ballpark. In addition to the weather, it's cold in San Francisco tonight, so that would be the reason you don't want to play them. I don't see any other reason. Arrieta is just absolute garbage right now, like just so bad. So,
Okay. DC.
Yeah, I'm in on the Giants here. I mean, it's the park sucks, but Arrieta's just a guy you want to target, and the Giants, they get it done at home anyway, despite the tough hitting conditions. Belt, Wade, Crawford, Listella at the top. Catcher's really thin today, so I don't mind the right versus right with Posey. And I think I'll get the Giants at low ownership. So, yeah, I think they're a good way to go.
Love the Giants as a loan. Stacked. Hope we get to it, Randy. Yeah, Randy, we just talked about that. Matt S. White Sox are struggling against lefties, haven't they?
I mean, they've been banged up recently, so
They got a bunch of dudes that mash lefties. I mean, I don't know how much the pass has to do with tonight. Given that,
if Tim Anderson plays well, then in his back, it completely shores up that lineup. Like the missing pieces were one of Eloy and Luis Robert and Tim Anderson. So like I completely ignore recent performance with a team like Chicago. They're completely different again now that they have two guys that have been out are back. They're stacked again.
okay. Title, like who would be your favorite Giant tonight? If you were playing a Giant in a GPP, who would it be?
Probably Tommy Listella because he's 2.9. Because I'm gonna have Garrett Cole and it's at a second base position that isn't very good. So that'd probably be my favorite.
Okay. Quick questions from D Smith in the premium chat. Any interest in Giolito tonight in GPPs?
Not for
I
me.
have him behind both Cole and Montas pretty comfortably, so I'm not going to get there. I don't think he's the worst play. Matchup's really good against the Angels, no question.
Yeah. So Kenny, good people. It took me a few minutes to get to it, but I'm on the Giants tonight, so maybe that should get everybody off of them too. Where were we here? I just deleted the game I was on. Arizona and the Dodgers. That's where we are. Oh boy. Which one of you guys wants to take the Dodgers tonight? Philippe, since you're on the Dodgers, I know that there's another coordinator on the Doyers, and it's never a bad idea to go for the Doyers.
You can tell me everything you want about Luke Weaver and his performance currently this season, blah, blah, blah. I know what Luke Weaver is. He's got a bad umpire tonight. The Dodgers are going to be patient. The Dodgers are going to wait for their opportunities. The Dodgers are going to potentially steal some bases on him. They're all the pieces line up, in my opinion, for the Dodgers to have a good game against Luke Weaver, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen that is just an absolute joke.
Absolute joke. So who are the favorites? Smith, Lux. Lux is so cheap. Oh my God.
The favorites are anybody but Cody Bellinger. How about that?
Hey, Bellinger got a night off and a couple of nights off, and now he has like back-to-back games with a hit. So he's making progress. That might not help your DFS.
Title rough season for your boy Gavin Lux, man. He hasn't done much.
He just hasn't. Trey Turner comes into consideration.
You're making excuses for Gavin Lux right now.
He hasn't been in the lineup that much. What do you mean? He hasn't gotten a rhythm. But today, I'm playing him.
All right.
Oh yeah.
We keep talking title in the bad plays. This is good.
Yeah. This is getting interesting.
They're all sub 3K. So then my other guys are going to be
all 3K play. He's going to have an entire lineup of sub 3K guys with Frankie Montas and Garrett Cole.
What other shit players can we?
No, Valdi, Garrett. You know what? No, Dickerson's not my SO. It's Gavin Lux. It has to be. It has to be Gavin Lux. But Dickerson's still going deep.
Couple questions in the premium chat here. Oh boy. Yaz or Wade for my Giants stack. Dude, Wade's cheaper. He's been mashing.
Yeah, he's hitting cleanup. Yeah. I would go with the in that situation. I'm taking the cheaper guy hitting cleanup.
There you go, K-Fleek Burner. You're welcome, D. Smith. Cedric Mullins is a one-off from Florida Click. Isn't he always a one-off? He's just a great baseball player.
He's insane.
Yeah, I don't mind taking that lefty power, and additionally, a speed is a nice bonus against Cole. So, yeah, he's by far the best play on the Orioles. You get the big leverage. I've tried it a lot with Garrett Cole. Obviously, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I had a less than 1% Jordan Alvarez double dong against Cole early in the season. That was very profitable. I've tried Ohtani. That hasn't always worked. But, yeah, you find that one good bat against a guy like Garrett Cole. I mean, dude gives up home runs, throws a lot of strikes. So I don't mind Cedric Mullins at all.
You want to talk about the Dodgers just a little bit here, DC, and answer a question while we're at it. Seager or Smith on FanDuel? That was Joe. And then just the rest of this order here. Is there anything on the other side? No.
Yeah, I'm in on the Dodgers. Kind of with K-Fleek League, just it's the bullpen for Arizona that is kind of the big target here. Weaver's been okay, but I'm not a huge believer in him. I'll probably stick to most of the top half of that Dodgers lineup. Don't think I'm going to $4,600 Bellinger or $2,500 Lux down at the bottom. But yeah, the top half, I'm a big fan. It's expensive for sure, but you can afford those guys. 4, 5, 6, Seager, Justin Turner, Will Smith. I like quite a bit. And then, of course, Betts, Muncy, Turner. It's a very strong lineup against a pitching staff I'm not a huge fan of. So love the Dodgers.
McCormick or Siri from DFS Production?
Okay, Alex said Siri.
All right, Siri it is. I mean, if
I'll chase the points.
If Kate Fallick's going, I'm just doing. Hey, last game we really haven't touched on is Boston Seattle. I don't think any of you guys got anything in this game. Can we find a one-off from Boston Seattle? Because nobody is going to do nobody's stacking this game. Who the hell is stacking this game? Kike? Can we play a little Kike? JD Martinez against the lefty? Anyone?
Yeah, I think it's the right-handed bats with power in the Red Sox lineup that you want against Tyler Anderson. Renfroe, Kike, JD Martinez rather. Yeah.
I think I like this game a little bit more than most do.
Good.
And it could be a bad move, but these are two teams. This is a mini stack kind of spots is what I'm saying for it. Like, you got guys that are cheap in the bottom of the order for Seattle that fit. Like, if you're telling me I get to choose between 2K Cal Raleigh or the 2K catcher that we were talking about before, I can't remember who it was. Give me Cal Raleigh and I'll take my chances.
Andrew Knapp.
Yeah, Andrew Knapp. Thank you. Same thing with Kalenic is a good young player as well. And then you can add in a guy like Jake Fraley who can do something. And then on the other side, Bobby Dalbec is cheap. They fit nicely with what I'm trying to build with the Dodgers or the Yankees is really what I'm trying to say. Cause you got two pitchers that are home run prone pitchers, and that's what I'm looking for. It may not be the best park, it may not be the best environment, whatever it may be, but if one of these guys gets a hold of the ball's going to fly potentially. So I'm looking at the bottom of the Seattle order, and I'm looking at the heavy hitters for Boston.
The heavy hitters for Boston. Renfroe too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
He doesn't count as a heavy hitter?
Actually, the more you look at it, people would be off it because it's a late game and it's a Seattle. But boy, they do got a couple guys in there. Hernandez, Renfroe, Martinez. DC, any reason for you to go here tonight, though?
Not a ton. I don't love it. Again, it's the right-handed power that I'm going to. I'm not going to any Seattle bats against Eovaldi. Just don't see the upside. Doesn't give up very many home runs. So that would be kind of the, maybe try to pick off like a Kyle Seager, but I just don't love the matchup for him. So no Seattle bats. And then, I don't mind taking a stab at a Renfroe, JD Martinez or Kike Hernandez.
Nothing to, all right. Very good. We're done with our games now. So let's get to the plays of the day and premium chat and free chat. Guys, if you already put a question in the free chat, do it again so we can get to it. We've got about 7 minutes. We're at 141 likes. That's a little hurtful. So try to get to 150. Title, we'll start with you. SO play of the day, dude. What is it?
Gavin Lux. I love how these two are hating on it. K Falcon almost just spit out his drink. He would have if he had water in it. Gavin Lux, he's been in the lineup a little more as of late. I like the Dodgers. He's free. He has dual position eligibility too. Gavin Lux is going deep. Put him a part of your wraparound stack if you're playing the top of the order.
Little reach around stack. Okay, how about you, DC? Mom's basement. What do you got?
One with the Marlins hitter. I'm going to go with two guys. I'm going with Jazz Chisholm and Jesus Sanchez. I think they're both doing damage against Eric Fetty in DC tonight.
Against Eric Fetty in DC. Okay. And what about you, K Falk? What's your play usually? I don't even know what it is.
Charts. I don't know. It was always charts. I don't know where it is today.
Charts play of the day. All right. Next.
Justin Turner.
So just the righties there. You could hold on. You could throw Seager in there, right? Seager, Muncy, Justin Turner.
Anybody but Cody Bellinger.
And
anybody but Cody Bellinger.
And Gavin Lux.
Gavin Lux.
I don't hate Gavin Lux. I just don't think I think he's viable because of price in any stack, but anybody but Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's going to hit.
I hate Gavin Lux. I hate him.
Thank you.
My heart is filled with
hate Corey Dickerson. Hate Gavin Lux. You guys know who to play today.
I hate these guys.
You hate them. All right.
I wish bad things for them, their families, everything.
Oh, come on, DC. That's just mean.
I hate that your previous company still has Jose Barrios as 8.6K. And
I sent the text, but I guess then maybe they keep holding a hold and they didn't save my number. They don't know who's texting him. I don't know.
And I need $1,200. Like that's what's the worst part of it is I need $1,200.
Hey, Title, who do you like at shortstop on DK Cash? That's Jason.
Let's see. I think Corey Seager is on the cash chart. I think he's fine. Gleyber Torres and Tim Anderson too. I think it's one of those three. The exposure to the best offenses. I know we don't like Gleyber, but he's really cheap in cash. Exposed to that lineup. Tim Anderson, and then Corey Seager. One of those three.
DC's handling a lot of the questions in the premium chat. All right, guys. So if you want to get anything on the free, we will be fine. We'll get that. Oh, G Risen's in there. I want to remind everybody, me and G Risen, Uncle T and JT Hayes, we're taping the Wishbone tonight. We got some really good viewership and listenership on our podcast for week 1. You two, Title, you and Rubio and me. But tonight, the old guys, we're going to be taping. We'll probably do some Norm Macdonald shtick and then talk some NFL and just talk about other things that happen to old people that really suck. So we got that. K Fallick, you're almost old enough to come on the show. You're what? You're at least 40, right? Please tell me you're 40. Damn it.
My birthday was actually on Saturday and I turned 36.
Well, I would normally feel horrible, but I don't have a soul.
No, I look old. I know I look old. I know everything about. I get it. Don't worry. I'm fine.
I'm not the most handsome. I'm not the most handsome guy on earth, but we're the same age, and I got you beat here at KK Fleek. So I'm just gonna.
Have you considered a wig?
Aging like fine wine, K Fallick. Aging like fine wine.
Don't flip me off. I think it's. Have you ever seen
Simon, get us out of here.
Maury with the
Work.
Huh? I think you'd look great in a wig. Personally, I think you should just come on a show one time. I think it would look great. Booger just came out. Is that what's G Rising? Is that you, DC? Did you have something with Booger?
I would, yeah. If they're referring to one of us as Booger, I would assume that would be me. Yeah. I think
Okay. It is the AARP show. That's exactly what it is, K-Fleek. K-Fleek's burner. And nice. Kevin's 36 too. This is great. I think DC's 36. Title is 6. And I'm like 56. So we're all good. We're right where we need to be. Happy belated birthday, K Fallick. Derek and myself are saying that to you.
And myself. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Your birthday's today?
No,
When was your birthday?
January.
Oh God. So what were you saying happy birthday to yourself for?
You
Did
weren't
you get a
listening.
haircut? Did you get a haircut?
You just noticed this?
Yeah. Did you get a haircut?
Yes.
Take your hat off for a second. Let's see. Make K
got-
Fleek jealous.
I got it from a nap, so it's not.
No. That's good. You cut a lot of it off too.
I get
DC, do you get it?
semi-annually haircuts twice a year, so it goes to the same pattern.
DC, how are you? I feel like you're a barber guy. Are you a barber guy? Just a high and tight or what?
No, I pretty much just shave my head once my hair starts annoying me.
You do
And
it
then-
yourself.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
saves a lot
yes.
of money.
Yeah.
That saves
A lot of money.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good for you.
That's
Uh,
it's one more losing entry in this $15 DK GPP. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
Uncle T, you were
Lot of money.
35 like 25 years ago, dude. I really believe that Uncle T is 60 and he just says he's 50 because there's no way that dude is only 50 years old, 51 years old. He's one old man majama. I mean, it's just, yeah, I do hate to see it, Jay Reed. I was listening. I just thought that title had said it was his birthday. I think we're done with the baseball. If you want to drop a question, you got 90 seconds to get it in. 3 more likes gets us to 150. About to tape the Old Guys podcast. That's good. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you doing? You still got a couple weeks left of baseball. Football is in full swing. Just next week, we all won't start the same guy that gets hurt, and we'll have a better week. I mean, that's all you can say. Raheem Mostert's my guy. Title. Been telling you that. What happened? His hamstring blew up on him. So big shit. What are you gonna do? It's
way to
over.
go. You were the one that you got me on him. I mean, obviously you got me on him in tournaments even before the sermon
Yep.
news. And look, holding with the jinx clockwork.
Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows it?
Definitely the
Right.
one that said it first. You.
No, you the fool who follows it is the
No.
one that's the more foolish.
Yeah, but let's just keep it to you versus title in that case.
Yeah, I'll just say yeah, you. Thanks, CC.
Uncle T's 51 in a week, so he's really 61 in a week. All right, guys, I'm gonna go drink a whole bunch of water. I need a lot of water. I'm dying here. I'm playing the late.
Simon, get us out of here.